Good evening, everyone. My name is Salvador Alexandro Ramirez Martinez, and today I'm going to talk about the activity number one for software verification and validation. As part of the activity, one of the main questions were what characteristics must quality software have, and I detailed five scenarios. One that is documented because since most of the code, when you start reading it, you don't get the sense of what are you expecting to read or what are you expecting to know about the functionalities, and sometimes not even the name of the functionality or method or class doesn't tell you anything. It's really good for people to document code so that everyone knows what's this about. There's also constant updating and update friendly because mainly because programming languages are always on constant update. Frameworks are always updating, like React and Angular, as well as iOS development and Android development, and this could affect the functionality on the long run. There's also, well, clean code, that everything could be read really good. When testing, it's normal to leave prints or logs to know where a bug may come in, or leave some sort of breakpoints. But you also need to know that you have to delete them whenever you're going to release the app. I mean, for you, it's going to make a lot of sense. For a lot of people, it will throw them off for a loop. There's also the repository, and when you are working on different versions of the software or application that you're going to develop, it's of great practice to work on a repository. This is to see the changes that were made and establish different branches for different functionalities. And once they are ready, they can merge with the whole project and making sure that no part of the code will ever be broken or bugged. Well, not ever being broken is really an understatement, because software is always going to have something that it will break, but it's our job to analyze all our code and know where everything goes wrong. There's also need for a database that is secure and safe, and in the case of an emergency, we need to have our database backed up, and as well as everything that applies to our software. And maybe we should have like a backup application or software, a backup application, backup of the software or application that we are developing. That's because we never know what's going to happen. Maybe the servers crash, maybe the computer needs to be reset and nothing has been changed or nothing has been uploaded, and all of that work is basically gone. So you need to do that. As long as we have like a backup of everything, that will continually be like hassle free for the next 3 or 4 months that you need to redo some of the code. As well as this, we had to research three cases where bad quality software has had adverse consequences. And the first one that I want to talk about is about Equifax, which is a social security hack. This was in the United States, where reportedly a ton of agencies announced that 143 million of their customer records were stolen by hackers. We're talking about a lot of people, and this is just a bank. I mean, this is a bank. This is a lot of information. You have everything to do identity theft, or maybe even more stuff to the people. Given that the population of the United States is 321 million people, that means that approximately 50% of the Americans could find themselves in danger of identity theft or worse. This hack took place on May 2017, and Equifax hid the story until early September, further outraging the public. And besides the whole hacking and everything, that was the worst thing that they could have ever done. And as details of the hack have emerged, it quickly became clear that much of the damage was a result of a vast negligence on Equifax part of the development of the security inside of their bank. There's also been trouble in medicine infusion pumps. This is because manufacturers experienced several emergency calls, and in 2015, Care Fusion Alaris pumps were recalled over a software error that caused the pump designed to automatically deliver the medicine to delay on the infusion. The consequences would range anywhere from medicine being withheld at critical points or accidentally overdosing. Just 4 days later, CareFusion issued a class won recall over a separate line of ventilators, citing a software flaw that could cause the patient to suffocate. There's also a software glitch in the F-35 fighters that caused the target detection problems. This spring, a serious software glitch in the F-35 fighters aircrafts garnered wide public attention. The plane engineers identified the software bug that caused the planes that when flying, all the method to detect targets was incorrect. As each of the planes within the formation detected target from varying angles, the software is reportedly unable to decipher whether there is just one or multiple targets, and this could be really, really deadly. To perform an analogy about, there was another point where you had to perform an analogy which can be applied in another area. I went with the automotive industry. It's normal to see loads and loads of molds of car pieces that they are in the automotive departments or automotive branches, and this is mostly the case with the companies that build most of the car parts. I'm not talking about those that ensemble the cars. I'm talking about all of those that get shipped customers. That's because that all of the parts gets shipped to customers. We're talking about Audi, Tesla, VW, and BMW, and so a lot more. Now, most of those molds need to be inspected before you apply them to the machine that will grab the metal sheet and actually do a do press on the metal sheet to do most of the work and do all well, have the material done for you. Most of the mistakes or failures are because we don't check everything, because every single moment is critical in the creation of everything. Mostly because every single factor is like a movement in a Rubik's cube. You can move any other square without moving others as well. Sure, you can make mistakes during testing process and correct them, but you won't send something that is halfway done to the public or to people that really, really need that piece. Now, as a reflection, I want to retake the Rubik cube analogy, because this I have seen it since I started working on El Periódico El Norte, and every time, and since this is code that I have not written myself and it's something that it was already done, every movement or addition to it breaks the flow of the main goal. And in this case, software, it may lead to save lives or as well as future developers. Because when you write thousands of lines of code, future developers won't get the hang of it unless they spend countless hours on the screen not knowing how the thing works. And we'll end up in a scenario where the basic question is, how does it work? And the answer, mostly always, will be, I don't know, but it does. In some cases, is comedy, and in others can mean important matters. And when it does, that is the main reason that has to make us care about how the software work, whether it is if you are starting on an app or working on the work of others. And that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for your attention, and have a great night.